All right, this is an annotation of this poem. In the following poem by Henry Vaughan, the speaker looks back on his earliest days. Read the poem carefully, then in a well-written essay, explain how Vaughan uses poetic elements, such as imagery, tone, and structure, to explore the contrast between the speaker's present and past states. Contrast, present and past states. All right, the retreat. Happy those early days. So that's a pretty good clue right there. The early days are happy. When I shined in my angel infancy, before I understood this place, appointed for my second race, and I have a footnote here, second race means mortal path. Or taught my soul to fancy aught but a white celestial thought. When yet I had not walked above a mile or two from my first love, which is the object of spiritual devotion, Jesus Christ, and looking back at that short space, could see a glimpse of his bright face. So here, before mortality, everything was pure. It's the angel infancy. When the speaker comes into humanity, he teaches himself to fancy things other than white celestial thought. So, let's see. Mortality corrupts. Let's see, and looking back at that short space, could see a glimpse of his bright face. So again, so this is before being immortal. All right, so part two. Could see a glimpse of his bright face. Obviously, when we've got his and capital H, we're talking about God. So this is, again, he's with God before he's born. So this is kind of the before. This is the past state. When on some gilded cloud or flower my gazing soul would dwell an hour, and in those weaker glories spy some shadows of eternity. So again, gilded is like covered with gold, and he's like floating on gilded cloud or flower, getting sights of eternity. Before I taught my tongue to wound. And so again, here we're talking about being human. Before I taught my tongue to wound my conscience with a sinful sound. Sorry, so that's my tongue to wound my conscience with a sinful sound. So saying things that make him feel bad. Or had the black art to dispense a several sin to every sense. So just all kinds of sensual sin. But felt through all this fleshy dress bright shoots of everlastingness. So again, back then, he felt bright shoots of everlastingness. Oh, how I long to travel back. So this is the wish to go back and tread again that ancient track, that I might once more reach that plain where first I left my glorious train, from whence the enlightened spirit sees that shady city of palm trees. And we see that's Jerusalem, the heavenly city. So he wants to go back where there's like the glorious train. That's not like a choo-choo train, it's a robe. So the heavenly robes. From whence the enlightened spirit sees that shady city of trees. So seeing like basically Zion, the new Jerusalem. This is where your Christian school education should come in handy. But my soul with too much stay is drunk and staggers in the way. Some men a forward motion love, but I by backward steps would move. And when this dust falls to the urn, in that state I came, return. So I'll be honest, this part here is giving me a little bit of trouble, so I'm just going to skip it for now. Some men would forward motion love. That's most men would move forward, but I, by backward steps, would move. I want to go backwards. And when this dust falls to the urn, obviously that's death, what he wants is, in that state I came, return. So he came pure, and he wants to return pure. And then noticing the title again, this is the retreat, which we know of as going backward. He wants to go back to that time when he was pure and innocent and with God. So, before, pure, with God. Now, human and sinful. So that's kind of like the effect that we're talking about, the meaning. And techniques, there are some allusions with Jerusalem. There's a lot of diction and imagery, his bright face, the gilded cloud, white celestial thought. If it were me, I'd just be focusing on diction and imagery. I might do a little bit of syntax, talking about the exclamation here. And this, maybe this but fragment, as because the exclamation begins kind of the change into wanting to travel back, and the but is kind of the lamenting the problem with moving forward when what he wants to do is move back. So if I were to write this essay, it would be diction, imagery, and maybe syntax showing his present state of sinfulness and how he longs to go back to purity and community with God.